This is a really disturbing story. Over the last couple of weeks, I've talked to you about the officer who killed a litter of kittens in front of children. We talked about the police officer who shot a dog in the back of the neck, claiming the dog was attacking him. How he shot him in the back of the neck, we couldn't really figure out. And now there's video out of California, from Hawthorne, California, of a police officer who shot and killed a dog who belongs to a man named Leon Rosby. Now, there was a police raid going on, and Rosby approached. And in the first video, which went viral that we're going to play, you see Rosby with his dog. I don't know exactly what breed the dog is. It looks like it is either part Rottweiler or a Rottweiler mix, maybe some Mastiff, or it's a large dog. I don't know exactly what kind of breed of dog it is. You see Rosby hanging out with the dog there and filming police officers. At a certain point, it becomes obvious that the police officers are going to come over to Rosby, and Rosby puts the dog in his vehicle, which you can see parked on camera left. Let's watch some of that first. And for people also to know, the point of view that we're seeing is that there were a number of people filming here. So you're seeing one person filming Leon Rosby, who with his dog is filming police. As you see the dog there, the dog seems completely calm. Rosby is filming. You see that the police raid is going on, a number of police cars here. And that's kind of how this entire thing starts. Now, I'm going to skip forward to when Rosby decides to put the dog in the car because it becomes clear that the police are going to come over to him. Now, at this point, again, Rosby has gotten the attention of the police, and he knows it probably makes sense to put the dog in the car, and that is exactly what he does. Let's watch a little bit of that. Police walking over. Rosby opening the door to the vehicle. Dog is in. You'll notice the windows are down. And then he walks over to where the police are. Now, as the police approach, they're approaching not super aggressively, but they ask him to turn around. Rosby does. Police grab him. And at this point, I think they're a little bit over-aggressive in how they're handling him. That's just my opinion, given the fact that he was just recording. He is handcuffed. He's completely compliant. And now you start to hear the barking. And the dog is getting agitated. Even though the dog didn't show any signs of aggression when he was just hanging out with Rosby, he's getting agitated by how his owner is being handled. The window is open. The dog starts leaning out of the window. The police patting down Rosby. And the dog is out. The dog runs over, is acting somewhat aggressive, but still not really jumping to bite, is now looking down at the ground. And I'm going to stop the video right there as the dog is shot 4 times. There is more video. The most graphic part probably is the 10 seconds that follow with the dog on the ground for a few seconds before it dies. This, when I saw it, was absolutely horrifying, and I had a number of thoughts on it. And before I give my thoughts, I want to play a second video as well. This is a video that some people say indicates that Rosby was not only just videotaping, but he was also driving by with loud music playing deliberately to disrupt the police activity. So before we discuss, I want to play that video as well to make it clear I am not avoiding playing that video. Let's take a look. So there you see Rosby. The dog is out one window.
Is he gonna stick him on us, or what's going on?
No, they're gonna bite. He's gonna bite the people.
It was undercover?
Watching in the
Look at him just bumping music.
Someone says there's bumping music. We can't really hear it. Okay, so that's the other component to this. And eventually Rosby goes over, parks, and gets out of the car to film. I just don't even know really where to start with this. One issue here is, so first of all, what's your reaction to seeing this, Lewis?
If they thought he was being disruptive, they waited a really long time to decide that the music was being disruptive before coming over to arrest him. I mean, clearly they're agitated that he was filming them.
The dog was actually submissive. It was provoked by what was going on there. The dog actually, I think, showed pretty amazing calmness, right? I mean, if the dog really wanted to attack the police officers, it would have happened fast and it would have happened viciously. The dog went over, kind of looked around, was completely distracted by something that dropped on the ground and was kind of sniffing around at it.
Yeah, the dog was just being defensive.
The dog was exhibiting defense of its owner because the owner was being manhandled by police. And this was not a vicious dog attack. The dog was agitated and barking and jumping, and the dog was shot by police and killed. Now, some are saying the owner, when the owner put the dog in the car, it was the owner's responsibility to roll the windows up to an extent that the dog could simply not get out. That's a fair criticism.
The owner also might not have known that he was about to be cuffed.
The owner may not have known that he was about to be cuffed. The owner also may not have known that he was going to be treated in a way by police that was going to agitate the dog, but we could still argue it was the owner's responsibility to roll the window up. Let's talk about the fact that he didn't. Let's go past that. This is not a situation where you couldn't have prevented this by just saying to the owner, get your dog under control. Let go of the owner for a second, because you can see very clearly when the owner steps forward and talks to the dog reacts. The dog is not in one of these hyper-manic states, frenzied states where he's out of control biting anyone in sight. What's your thought on this, Natan?
Well, I think we should separate out whether it was correct for the police to arrest this guy from what they did with the dog, because no matter whether the guy deserved to be arrested or not, that doesn't mean they can brutalize his dog. The dog
Correct.
Isn't to blame for whatever the guy did.
Right.
So on that basis alone, talking about the dog, I think very clearly they could have used pepper spray, a baton, a taser, something else, because the dog can't fire a weapon. I mean, the most the dog can do is physically jump up and bite the cops, and there's many ways of preventing that from happening.
That's not going to be
without
fatal.
killing the dog.
Yeah, the cops don't confront this individual for way too long. It only takes one officer to calmly walk over, and while the owner has the dog on the leash, just say, hey, what are you doing here? You know, you can legally film, but you're just kind of causing a little bit of a disruption. And a former law enforcement officer actually said that while what this individual was doing was rude, even with the music, let's talk about the loud music, it is not illegal. It simply is not illegal to play loud music near a police raid, and that this entire thing could have been avoided, and now a dog has been brutally shot in front of countless people and suffered. Believe me, if you watch the last 10 seconds of this video, the dog suffered in its death, and it is just absolutely sickening.
Yeah. Clearly, these are just cops who want to bully people doing that. They're dumb, cowardly, incompetent cops. There are a million things they could have done differently to avoid this situation. And this is an epidemic. This is happening in every city across the country every day. It's a huge problem. I don't know how you fix this problem.
I don't know.
But police officers are a huge problem.
And again, individually, most police officers have the best intentions, and individually, most police officers are not problems. But as we see countless incidents.
A lot of police officers are model good police officers, and a lot of them are like this. I mean,
and we've covered a lot of those
we
stories.
need to weed them out somehow.